Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the sonic world of a true icon, HISASHI, from the legendary Japanese rock band GLAY.
So, in a world where you have endless gear options, how does a single artist create a sound that's not just legendary, but also super versatile? Well, that's what we're going to find out. We're going to explore how HISASHI masterfully blends that old-school vintage soul with cutting-edge modern tech to build his signature sound.
All right, so to really get a handle on his whole approach, we're going to break it down. We'll start with his overall philosophy, then jump into the guitars that are the source of it all. After that, we'll look at the two kind of separate worlds he operates in, the analog studio and the digital stage. It's going to be interesting.
Okay, Section 1, The Architect of Sound. And really, this subtitle, more than a guitarist, says it all. You've got to think of HISASHI less like just a guitar player and more like a true architect of sound.
So, what does sonic architect actually mean? Well, for him, it means every single piece of gear has a job to do. Nothing is there by accident. Whether he's in the studio, playing a huge arena, or just practicing at home, every choice is deliberate. It's all part of this meticulously designed musical vision.
All right, let's get to the fun stuff. The core guitars. This is where it all starts, right? The source of that signal.
First up, you have to talk about the Z-94 metal front. I mean, this is the guitar. It's the absolute benchmark for the HISASHI sound. Think of it as ground zero, the starting point for everything else.
And then, to show you his more experimental side, you've got this, the Tokai Armored Talbo. This thing is wild. It's got an aluminum body, which gives it this totally unique voice and just insane sustain. It's such a cool piece of his sound puzzle.
But it doesn't stop there, not by a long shot. Look at this variety. You've got a legit 54 Strat for those authentic vintage tones. He's got custom Zodiac Works guitars for specific concept songs. And then things get really interesting. A rolling guitar synth for those otherworldly textures, and even an electric sitar. You see what I mean? It's not just a collection of guitars. It's a whole palette of sounds to paint with.
Okay, now we're getting into the two sides of HISASHI's brain, so to speak. First, we have the analog heartbeat. This is all about how he crafts his tone in the studio. So when he was recording music live, just look at this rig. We're talking the heavy hitters of the analog world. You've got boutique amps like a Friedman and a vintage Bogner Ecstasy. That's plugged into a late 60s Marshall cab. I mean, come on. And then you have the studio classics, Neve preamps, an 1176 compressor. This is the stuff that rock and roll dreams are made of.
And here it is, the secret weapon, the Clone Centaur. If you know anything about guitar pedals, you know this one is legendary. It's an incredibly rare overdrive from the 90s, and it's a core piece of his drive sound. What makes it so special is that it's famous for being transparent. It just makes your amp sound more of itself without coloring the tone. It's pure magic.
Okay, so we've seen the analog heart. Now get ready for a total shift. We're moving to the digital brain. This is all about power and consistency for his live shows and even his practice time. The key here is the modeling amplifier. So what's that? Basically, it's a digital brain that can perfectly simulate all sorts of different amps and effects. For an artist like HISASHI, this is a game changer. It gives him a massive library of tones in one box, which means total flexibility and rock-solid consistency on the road. And the core of that digital brain for his live show? It's the Fractal Audio Axe FX3. And get this, he runs two of them, a man unit and a sub, or a backup. When you're playing massive arena tours, you can't afford any mistakes. This setup guarantees that his tone is pristine and reliable every single night. What's really cool is how this philosophy scales down even to his practice rig. He uses something like the Positive Grid Spark, and you can see him building his tone from the ground up. He'll pick an amp model, maybe something high gain like Switch Axe, then he adds a clone drive. That's his digital clone Centaur. He'll add a little bit of chorus, just for some thickness and stereo width, and finish it off with a touch of delay. It's his whole process, just in a tiny box. And you can see what he thinks about this stuff right here in this quote. He says the sounds bring out the essence of the original gear. That's the key. He's not looking for digital to be something completely different. He wants it to faithfully capture the soul of the analog gear he loves. He even says he might use it for recording. That tells you everything you need to know about his open-minded approach. Okay, so let's put it all together. A philosophy of sound. What can we take away from this whole approach? It's all about using the right tool for the right job. And this comparison really lays it all out perfectly. You've got the analog heart versus the digital brain.
In the studio, the goal is exploration, right? Finding that nuanced, in-the-moment magic with vintage gear. But on the live stage, the goal shifts completely. It becomes all about consistency and reliability. That's where he uses the fractal to program his presets and deliver perfectly replicated sounds night after night.
So what are the key takeaways for us guitar players? First, embrace both analog and digital. Don't get stuck in one camp. Second, have that one benchmark instrument that defines your core sound. Third, don't be afraid to use subtle effects like chorus to add dimension. And maybe most importantly, understand that a consistent live sound is just as crucial as a creative studio sound. It's all about serving the music. So it all leads to this big question, right? Is the future of guitar this perfect fusion of analog soul and digital precision? Well, if you look at HISASHI's career, the answer seems to be a definite yes. He's living proof that you can have the best of both worlds. And it just makes you wonder, what incredible new sounds are we going to hear as these two worlds keep getting closer and closer?